host Tyler Carter.
I'm your host, Cody Vancillo.
And today, you guys, we have a very special guest here to recap Big 12 Media Days. Is Cyclone Fanatics Jake Bryn. Jake, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is fun.
Yeah, man, I'm really excited to talk ball with you. And I love all those shorts that you do for Cyclone Fanatic. Those things really get me going.
I appreciate it, and they're hopefully just getting better. I feel like a
Yeah,
majority of the ones that I've done, it's kind of making up content out of thin air. It's like,
yeah.
well, what's one men's and women's basketball player that's flying under the radar this year? And then this last week hits, and
Mm-hmm.
like you said, we're talking ball.
Hmm.
Right.
We're 44 days away from Ireland right now, so it's great to actually start talking some X's and O's and see where the Big 12 is shaping up heading into 2025.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I mean, your boss, if that's correct, Chris Williams did say that once July 4th weekend was done, that's when you guys really hit the grind. So very excited to see where the season goes. And I mean, this Cyclone season is expected to be a spectacular one, just given everything that went down last year and what's returning to the Cyclones this year and what's being brought in.
Yeah, it's a weird vibe around the expectations. Like I'm sure you
Mm-hmm.
guys saw Brent McMurphy with On
Right.
Three released his coaches poll today, where he unanimously polled every coach in the conference on who they thought would play in the Big 12 championship game, and 7 of the league's coaches thought Iowa State would be there, and that is really
Mm.
high praise considering what they lose. Like Jaden
Right.
Higgins and Jalen Knoll, they're the only duo in college football last year with 1,000 yards each. That's a
Right.
lot to replace, but I think that goes to show the amount of respect that Matt Campbell has around the conference. I felt
Mm-hmm.
that. I talked to Lance Leipold yesterday. I talked to Sonny Dykes. Mike Gundy got asked that in his press conference and had nothing but great things to say about Campbell. He's reached that point in the conference where he's been around for so long, and he's proven to be able to do it with so many different types of teams, right? Because
Right.
when Brock Purdy came in as a freshman, he was great. Don't get me wrong. He was really the first true great Iowa State quarterback in a long time. But a lot of that offense was, hey, hand it off to David Montgomery and just chuck it up for
Mm-hmm.
Hakeem Butler and see what happens. Purdy reinvented himself over the course of his career and implemented guys like Brees Hall, Xavier Hutchinson, Deshaunte Jones. And now you're seeing the same thing with Rocco Becht. And that's what I think is so cool about what Matt Campbell's done at Iowa State is it's not just been a one-trick pony when you happen to have a quarterback that started in the Super Bowl come through. You
Right.
had a running back who his rookie season was probably one of the 3 best rookies as a running back in the NFL in Brees Hall. You had David Montgomery, who's been a great NFL. Like they've done it with so many different rosters, and I think that's
Right.
what's so cool about the respect that Iowa State's getting from the other league's coaches.
Nah, yeah, man. It's definitely high praise because I believe now he's now the second most tenured coach in the Big 12 under behind Gundy now.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I was just sitting up there and listening to Gundy's presser yesterday, which if you haven't watched it on YouTube, there's nothing better than just hearing Mike Gundy talk. But it's crazy to think that he's the only guy that's been here longer than Campbell. This
Mm-hmm.
is an Iowa State program that Paul Rhodes had a good run, but it wasn't pretty towards the end. Gene Chiswick
Right.
was barely here to have a mortgage. Dan McCarney was here a long time, but before that, Iowa State went through so many coaches, so many coaches. So to have a guy that's not only been here a while, but has had plenty of opportunities to leave and hasn't. It truly is just a great time to be a fan of Iowa State football, and like there's a reason that Campbell is so respected throughout the country.
Definitely, man. Um, I had just a few questions I wanted to ask you. The first question that I just wanted to ask you is, um, I guess from the presser, or maybe the one you did on Psycho Fanatic, what were some things that you took away from the press conferences?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from the general public is uh, ridiculous. It was Campbell's quote about the top 20 players took a pay cut to stay, and that is what Campbell said, but it was completely misleading by uh, whoever reported. I believe it was Pete Thamel. The way that tweet read
Yeah.
was that the top 20 players on the roster are making less than they were last year. That is not true. What Campbell meant to say is the top 20 players could have all left for bigger opportunities elsewhere and didn't. So that's the biggest takeaway from other people. That was not the biggest takeaway from me. I didn't even bat an eye when I heard it because,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've been around it so much. If you listen to Williams and Bloom,
Right.
that's what it's always about. Like, oh my, Taman turned down how much to stay? Milan turned down how much to stay? Like, we're used to that as Iowa
Right.
State fans. I would say my biggest takeaway was when I asked Campbell about being back in Dallas, where it was just 7 months ago where they came up short. And I still think that game, it was a blowout, no doubt, but it was
Mm-hmm.
such a snowball effect, and I don't think it really represents the gap between Arizona State and Iowa State. Arizona State is the better team, and they
Right.
were absolutely the better team on that day. But I sensed it from Campbell. I sensed it from Jeremiah Cooper. I sensed it from Rocco. Like, that group is definitely proud of what they accomplished, winning 11 games, but they are not proud altogether of how things ended. And it ended on a high note in Miami, but the season really did end in Dallas. And for them to be back in that city, have the reminder of the embarrassment that they felt, that was my biggest takeaway. Not that they feel it, because that's
Mm-hmm.
natural, you're going to feel it, but the fact that they were open about it, and the fact that Campbell gave me a 90-second answer about it, shows me that that is fresh on their minds, and that is a hungry football team that's not just content with, well, we finally checked off the 10-win box. That
Right.
is not true at all within the program, and I think that was really encouraging for me.
Yeah.
Same with us. Like that's something that we've been talking about on our pod. It's just like, hey, this team, like, and me and Cody were talking about that in our side conversation. I'm like, this team hunger is something that I've never seen before, really, here at Iowa State.
Yeah. I think, yeah, mind obviously that obviously the blowout loss to Arizona State. I think my personal belief is that it's one thing to lose in a close game. It's another to get absolutely like embarrassed. Because I think
Mm-hmm.
me personally, you get embarrassed the way Iowa State did against Arizona State that day. That stays with you longer, and I think that is just an extra like piece of motivation and an extra purpose as to why you want to continue being at Iowa State, why you want to continue building what they are building in Ames. So, and obviously Matt Campbell, and the fact that they're very open about it, that means that they know, like they're not afraid, they're not shy about talking about getting embarrassed like that, because at the end of the day, it's going to be brought up one way or another. So, just you just openly acknowledge it, and you use that as sort of like a bulletin board material to be like, okay, we made it here. Now we got to find a way to take that extra step to not just make it, but to win the Big 12 title and bid for a spot in the expanded college football playoff.
Yeah, Cody, when you talk about that, you're making me realize that I should have asked this question when I was down there.
Mm-hmm.
It's that Matt Campbell he's lost 2 Big 12 championships in the most polar opposite way. They've had it
Mm-hmm.
where if Purdy just tucks the ball and runs instead of throwing the
Oh,
ball up,
Mm-hmm.
who knows where we are today? And on the other end, they have had the butt whooping on national television. Jeremiah Cooper said, if getting embarrassed in the biggest game of your life doesn't get you fired up, then nothing will. So I'll have to put that in my back pocket for Iowa State football media days to ask Campbell the differences between the 2021 team coming off of that loss and the 2025 team, how they're just how they're responding to the different types of losses on the big stage.
Yep.
And that actually leads into our nenext question. And the crazy thing is, Jake, is that I was there for both of those games. So it's just, it was just a difference of emotions. Like 2020, I was so depressed. And then like, I felt numb. Once it got to 45-10, I'm like, dang, man. Just like that.
This wasn't the day.
The crazy thing for me is like that 2020 year, that was, I believe, my senior year of high school. And this past Big 12 championship game, I'm in college. So I got to win it. Like, those are two different phases in my life of being an Iowa State fan, obviously. Just one being at home or whatever, but getting to fully watch like the progression of Iowa State as a student has really been amazing, and I'm so glad I get an opportunity to go watch this team in person for at least a few more games. So you'll be seeing me in the stadium quite a few times.
Let's go. I love to hear it. So I was actually supposed to be at both Big 12 championships. 2020, I had my ticket, I had my flight booked, and the flight was like $60 because it was during COVID and nobody was traveling. I was gonna go in. I had some buddies from Cyclone Twitter. I was just going to probably crash on the floor. And like 2 days before I get COVID.
No.
And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
No.
And I was so pissed off. I was so depressed. I did sell my ticket, which was fine because the tickets were expensive. And then I got flight credit from whatever it was, probably American. But the problem was, what are you going to do with $60 with the flight credit? You're never going to find a $60 flight the rest of your life. So I think that just got wasted. But then when the game happened, I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of glad I got COVID because I don't know how I would have emotionally recovered if I was in the stands for that heartbreaker. And then 2024, it was, I mean, I was over that game like halfway through the third quarter. That's the good part about a blowout is you're like, well, wasn't the day. I just got to prepare myself for a 12-hour drive home tomorrow.
Yeah, that was me. I had to drive all the way back to. I live in the Chicagoland area, so it was like 15 for me. I'm like, man, I got to drive all the way back home now.
I would have been blessed because I have family in Dallas, so all I would have needed to do was just spend a night with them and then go home on a flight Sunday morning.
Man, yeah. See, you're blessed, Cody. Yeah. Talking about what we talked about previously, Jake, I wanted to talk about we were talking about expectations. Like how do you think that this team is going to handle expectations from last year's historic season? Because obviously this is something that we've never done before, winning double-digit games in the season.
I think they're ready, and I'm sure we'll get into the rest of the Big 12 in a bit. And this kind of leads me into what I'm thinking about Texas Tech, and I'm not high on Texas Tech, which is going against it's maybe going against the current of what most people are doing. And a lot of that comes down to you have to go through it once. And that's why I do feel not completely confident in Iowa State, but I feel more confident probably than normal in Iowa State because they have gone through something similar in 2021. I mean, there's no reason that team should have gone 7-6. No reason at all that team should have gone 7-6. But Matt Campbell, he talked about it recently. He went on that. I don't know if you guys saw that podcast clip that was floating around Twitter.
I listened to it. It was excellent.
That was maybe the best content that Matt Campbell has ever given. And he was talking about how when you're building it up at Iowa State, when he's doing what they did in 2017 and even into 2020, it is just the cutest, best story in college football because nobody ever has won an Ames. But guess what happens when you do win an Ames? And when you beat every. Do you guys know this? Matt Campbell's beat every team in the Big 12, at least the
yeah.
old one.
Yep.
Obviously not the 16-team one yet. But when you've done that, you get a target on your back. And I don't think that 2021 team was ready for what that would feel like. And now they've experienced it. Now they're kind of used to it. I'm not saying that it's a Texas or Oklahoma level thing where it's pure hatred when Iowa State walks in the building, but it's probably a similar thing to when K-State comes to town or when Oklahoma State comes to town. It's like, this is just a really good program, and it would be a marquee win if we're able to do that. And I do think that this team is ready for the expectation side of things.
Right.
The defensive line, that's a question mark to me. The O-line is always a question mark to me. That stuff will have to play itself out, and Iowa State will have to find answers there. But from a psychological standpoint, I do think that Matt Campbell is ready, and so is Rocco Becht. And that, when we're talking intangibles, that is the important part. The X's and O's, we're still going to have to see.
Yeah.
Definitely. Go ahead, Cody. And
Yeah, that kind of hit the mark exactly on my thought as well, because Matt Campbell for sure has learned handling, obviously that 21 season didn't go the way that it was planned to be. And because now you're no longer Iowa State's no longer in a position where they're the scrappy underdog that everybody loves to talk about. They're now one of the top guns that everybody's going to be looking to knock down in this in what I would call the conference of chaos, because we saw that chaos happen late into the season where you had that run of Kansas just beating all the top 3 teams, which started with Iowa State.
They're the Grim Reaper.
Right.
They're the Grim Reaper meme that I've seen all over the place. The one knocking at your door is whoever's the next top 10 team ranked in the conference. So, but yeah, I think this is something that Iowa State, I never thought I'd see, because I basically grew up, one of my first exposures to Iowa State was of the unfortunate Gene Chizik era. So it's
oh boy,
yeah, I was a really young lad at that point.
No memories of that. Those 2 years didn't happen. It was just a black hole.
Good thing I was I was only 3 or 4, so I'm glad that does not happen. But yeah, from what that was, as the stories are told, to now what we see here at Iowa State, they're now a respectable program that everybody looks to and looks to okay, it's no longer just a team that's oh, we're just going to go here, just dilly-dally or whatever, we'll take care of business. Now you have teams actually preparing for Iowa State, and now Ames has become one of the places in college football that's a bit difficult to win in. I mean, we've done upsets before. Mentioned 2011, 2021 Oklahoma State. I believe number 4 TCU 2017.
Yep, best game I've ever been to at Jack Trice Stadium.
The 2011 one?
No, the 2017 TCU one. I wasn't in the building for 2011, but I think it was 5 turnovers.
Yeah, it was then Marcel
14-7.
Spears. Yeah, 14-7. Marcel Spears seals the game with that pick. It was just that was just great. And
so much around that game was they went in and they upset Oklahoma. Probably the best win in school history. I think that's where I would put it. But then that year that was such a good team, and they had a couple weird losses, and you weren't sure, was it a fluke, was it not? And then you've got, I believe it was the first ever ranked matchup at Jack Trice Stadium, or first of the century. It was some crazy stat like that. You got number 4, sellout crowd, beautiful day, and the professor pitched perfection.
He sure did.
The professor pitched a perfect game that day. And it was one of those where it's man, this might be real. What Campbell's building might actually be real. And I don't know if I felt that until that day, and it's been proven to be pretty dang real.
And I remember my Facebook status that day. I was because unfortunately, like you guys, I didn't grow up an Iowa State fan. I became an Iowa State fan when I went to school here. But Man, I knew like from that point, I knew I was like, man, Iowa State is for real, y'all. Like because I watched the Oklahoma game, I'm like, okay, let I want to see more. And then they
Mhm.
went on the road. The next week they beat Texas Tech. I'm like, okay, you know what? Okay, yeah, they beat Tech, but this TCU game is really, really going to tell me something. And defensively, yes, it was a work of art. And just Marcel Spears having those interception returns against Texas Tech in back to back to
Yeah.
back years. But that's insane. But yeah.
Yeah, that
Um
that was maybe the prototypical Iowa State game because the defense pitched a shutout and still the special teams found a way to give up a touchdown. Like if that's just not
oh man.
if that's just
Oh,
not poetic justice, I don't know what is.
yeah.
To of all people, Cavante Turpin.
Yeah.
But
I'll forgive him. I'll forgive him now. He's pretty
yeah,
fun to
we
watch.
forgive you, Cavante.
Yeah. Special teams has just been the bane of like Iowa State's existence for a long time. But I mean, remember correctly, their special teams coordinator. This is just a kind of a side thing. Their special like on the special teams staff is a former special teams player, Rory Walling, who,
Yep.
fun fact, went to the same high school I did because we both went to East High School.
Oh, I didn't know you went
in
to
Des Moines.
East. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, I went there. Went there from like the 2017 to 2021. So I got to watch like a little bit of Rory's tape at East, and he was a beast. And I was so glad that he found a role at Iowa State, and it's really cool to
Yeah,
see
he
just a
made.
local kid.
I mean, you talk about special teams where a lot of times it has been the bane of existence for Iowa State fans, but Iowa State doesn't go to the 2020 Big 12 championship without a play on special teams by Rory Walling.
Mm-hmm.
When Texas Tech ran a fake punt on
Oh, it was
fourth
Texas.
down.
I think it was Texas, actually.
Yeah, sorry, Texas, not Texas
Yeah, it was
Tech.
yeah, I remember watching that game in Austin. Yeah, they were trying to run that fourth down. Rory is able, like, he reads the play and he's able to shoot the gap and gets the tackle.
Yeah,
Push the guy out of bounds about 1 or 2 yards short.
The play of that season came on special teams, and I think that is an area where this program has come a ways. I know they had a really rough year a couple years ago, but again, are they in the Big 12 championship this past year without Darian Porter?
Oh, Darian Porter.
Not what.
Yes.
Obviously, he was a great corner, but are they there without the plays that he made on special teams?
No.
They're going to have to replicate that with somebody. I don't know who it is. That's something that has to emerge, and you can't expect a guy to block 5 punts in his career. That's
not just that.
That's ridiculous. But they need somebody to make plays.
Yeah. And you mentioned Darian Porter. The play that instantly comes to my mind, since Kansas State's on the clock, on the schedule, is that blocked field goal, right?
Yep.
Like, I'm sitting right front row in the student section. I see Darian Porter, like, on the other side of the field. He just jumps. He jumps the play, and he's able to get the block. And I don't think I could hear from out of my ears for like the next like 5 minutes or so after that play.
Yeah, I was shooting that game for Local 5 with my camera, and usually a blocked kick, a blocked punt is one of those plays where it's just chaos and you don't know where to look.
Mm-hmm.
When that happened, I knew my camera's going directly to Darian Porter.
Yeah.
Because I just knew if anybody was going to block a kick, I'm putting $1,000 that it was Porter. And it's not going to be every day where you find a guy that is a high school state champion in the 400, comes in as a receiver, doesn't play, easily could have transferred, probably should have transferred, but nope, he switches sides of the ball, doesn't really get his turn for a couple of years, grinds out a role on special teams, and then becomes a lockdown corner as a sixth-year senior. Like that, going back to Matt Campbell, going back to what he's built here, that is the epitome of it. It's stories like that, and I'm sure that we'll see something not similar to Porter, but we will see another story of a guy that just stayed the course and carved out a role and helped maybe a pretty special season.
No, definitely. And the fact that he was like, I mean, the fact that those three guys were all like basically top 100 picks. Well, four guys because Jalen Travis. It
right.
really, really gives a testament to the development of this program, and really now that we're a legit like developmental program.
Yeah, 100%. You're seeing it already with, like, Jalen Travis is a great example. He could have earned 3 or 4 times the money and gone and been a depth piece at an SEC school. But he saw the track record that Iowa State has of developing guys by giving them playing time and putting them in the NFL, and that investment paid off. If he would have taken, let's say, 4 times the money to go play at LSU and was a rotational piece on the edge, is he drafted in the 4th round? No. Is he making the money that he is now? Absolutely not. So he made a bet on himself. He made a bet on Iowa State, and that's paid off. And that is the model going forward for Matt Campbell when we're in the Moneyball era and when Iowa State might be the Royals and they're going up against the Yankees and in Texas Tech or maybe even in other conferences. That is how Iowa State is able to stay competitive in this college football world.
Definitely, I completely agree with you, Jake. And you talked about Texas Tech, and how about you? You don't really believe the hype. I really don't either. But is there any other team or teams that we aren't talking about enough in the Big 12 that we should look out for?
We talked about them earlier, the Grim Reapers. I think Kansas is going to be pretty solid. I think the world of Coach Leipold and what Kansas went through last year was almost identical to what Iowa State went through in 2022. That 2022
true.
Iowa State team, that was maybe the best defense of the Campbell era.
Yep.
Like, completely dominant. The fact that they only won 4 games was a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And I can come up with 4 plays right now off the top of my head that if those 4 plays go the other way, that's an 8-4 football team and not a 4-8 football team. The Xavier Hutchinson drop against Texas. The Xavier Hutchinson drop against Kansas. Against Kansas State. The Jace Gilbert missed kick against Kansas. The 2 different 1st and goals from the 1 against Texas Tech, and they didn't score a point. Like, that's just scratching the surface. And Kansas is the same way, where they started 1-3 last year. They lost to UNLV. They lost to
Illinois.
Oh gosh, yeah, they lost to Illinois, and then there was 1 conference game, West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
They had win probabilities, and I know it's not a perfect stat, but according to ESPN, they had win probabilities of 85+ in the second half of all 3 of those games and lost that. I don't know exactly what the math comes out to on that, but the odds of going 0-3 in those games are so slim. And what I kind of came to the conclusion on my podcast, Bigger Than 12 with Derek Duke, is sometimes it's just your year from hell. And sometimes nothing goes right. And that doesn't make me think any less of Kansas. That doesn't make me think anything less of Leipold as a coach. I think Kansas is going to be right back towards the top of the league this year. I'm trying to think if there's any other teams.
Yeah. You brought up all those 4 plays. I can remember exactly where it was, because that 2022 season was the first year I was at Iowa State, because I transferred out of community college after my freshman year. So the one that I really remember the most was that Texas Tech game, because it was freezing cold. I was in like snow pants. I had a blanket over me, and boy, oh boy, when I was watching that, those repeated 1st and goals from the
Just
one,
go under center.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Like, have we not seen this before? Like, not see Tom Brady do this? It's like, it's not that hard to just go under center, just QB sneak it. We saw with the Eagles. Sorry to mention the Eagles, but the tush push, the brotherly shove, if you will. Like, it's not that hard just to do a QB sneak. It's 1 yard.
Well, isn't there some sort of sick part of us that when Rocco, how many first downs did he pick up on QB sneaks? How many? He won 2 games this year.
Yes.
UCF and Miami on QB sneaks. Wasn't there some sick part of you that's like, Where was that? Where was that 2 years ago?
That was my
Seriously?
exact
I
thought.
said this
That was
all
my
the
exact
time.
thought. That UCF game, to go back to it, it was like I said, talk about Kansas State ringing my ears. UCF was just a chaos pit in the student
Oh
section.
my god!
It was absolute chaos.
I'll give credit to Tom Manning. I don't agree with his decision to never go under center, but it is also a skill thing for the quarterback. And Rocco is, I'll admit, I'm not watching film of every quarterback in the country on a QB sneak, but what Rocco's able to do is pretty incredible. Like his success rate on those plays is it's a skill. It's not just it's not a thing where you automatically get 1 yard every time, or else everybody would do it. So that is where it is a lot of credit to Rocco, but I'd be lying if I said that it doesn't trigger me every time it happens to get PTSD back to 2022.
Yep.
When I was freezing cold at Jack Trice. So cold.
Yeah, I could join you in that one. And the thing was, I think I was a sicko because I think I had gone to the stadium like students are let in like 2 hours before kickoff. I think I had gotten to the stadium about like half an hour before they let students in. I was still like one of the first people there because I think everybody, a lot of other students had left for like Thanksgiving, and I was just like, okay, I'm just going to this game. Whatever happens, happens. It's cold as balls, so I'm just sitting there. Me with a few other buddies. We were all huddled up like penguins for that game.
Yeah, that was a brutal day.
Yeah. I gotta bless. Yeah.
I'm glad 2024 was better.
Yeah, I gotta bless the
Yes.
hearts at Rolling Walk on Welch Avenue because they were open late after that game. Because me and my buddies, we wanted food, and bless their hearts, they were very accommodating to us, and they were great.
Yeah. Like I think I have this question I think is interesting. For you, Jake, like, you know, Iowa State is an up and coming brand. So like this type of game in Ireland, what does this do for a brand like Iowa State who is trying to be on the come up as a like a team or a program?
It's massive because not only is it a standalone game, it is the first football game since the Super Bowl.
Right.
Apologies to Anthony Becht and the UFL, but for the vast majority of the public, people are in the NFL preseason. I don't watch that stuff. People are craving, they're begging for any form of football. And when week 0 kicks off in Ireland, when it's going to be a top 20 matchup, it is, I don't know if it's crazy to say that it's the biggest stage that Iowa State has ever been on. It's not the biggest game Iowa State's ever played. It is the biggest game of the season, but it being the standalone first game of the year, you very well could make the argument that there will never be more focus on Iowa State. And like,
yes,
Big 12 championships, those are great opportunities. There's been standalone bowl games on big stages, but there's something about it being the first game and having the momentum coming off of last season and it being a rivalry game and it being the longest continuous rivalry game in the country. It's a massive, massive stage. And man, I hope they show up because it could do big things not only for the brand, but for the season. Like if you start 1-0 and you know that you've got that in your back pocket to not only come home and play your non-conference schedule, but you know we start 1-0, no matter what happens in September, we're starting 1-0 in conference play, and we've got a tiebreaker over the odds-on favorite to win the league. Like that, it's almost worth 2 or 3 wins in itself if you can do it. And that's a big if. Massive if.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a challenge because, like, I listened to your little snippet. I'm talking to the K-State guys.
Yep.
You're talking about a team that the last few years has had expectations of winning this conference, and they've fallen short.
Yeah, K-State last year talk about a collapse. I mean, they
Man.
were. People forget that the only reason Iowa State was even in position to go to Dallas was because K-State lost to Houston. Houston.
Whoo! I was so happy. I'm like, thank you, Houston.
Yes, that Houston game was nuts because I mean Iowa State before that because I believe because Houston was the week before Iowa State, correct?
I don't think it might have been the week before. It was close. It was towards the end of the season, and it was at the point where we'd all lost hope because
We had
you have
lost
the
two
Tech
straight.
loss, which sucked, but you figured they'd go bounce back against KU and just get your butt whooped. It's like, well,
Mhm.
can
That-
kiss away dream season. And
But
then out of nowhere, they lose to Houston. Are you kidding me?
not
So that is a team that not only just got, I mean, they got pretty thoroughly beat at Jack Trice Stadium. I know it was technically a
Oh, yeah.
one-score game, but that was a physical just annihilation by Iowa State.
yeah.
And they made Avery Johnson look like a young quarterback. That is a team that is not happy at how last year went, and they shouldn't be. That's a team that should be in Arlington every year
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
with how they're built up front on both sides of the ball and a dynamic quarterback in Avery Johnson and a bunch of weapons. Like there's no reason they shouldn't be in Arlington, but they've come up short the last 2 years. And I'm sure there's nobody that is more happy about that than Matt Campbell and Iowa State fans.
Yeah. And I
Yes.
mentioned Matt Campbell. Matt Campbell has had Chris Kleiman's number
Yep.
since Kleiman got to Kansas State.
For
I
the
believe.
last five of the last 7 have
Yeah.
gone
Right.
Iowa State's way.
Yeah, and I mean, if we want to extend this to 2018, when Matt Campbell basically sent Bill Snyder packing on his second retirement tour,
Mhm.
gave him a nice Thanksgiving gift.
Yeah, and the year before that should have been a win as well if they don't pick up the Al Lazard flag. Like Campbell has had a
Ooh.
lot of success against Kansas State, and
Yes.
I don't know where that comes from. I mean, a lot of that is K-State did go through kind of a buffer period. They got smoked by COVID, so that 45-0 win you can probably throw out the window.
Mhm.
But I remember the 2021 game. That was about as nervous
Yeah.
I've been heading into an Iowa State game because
Mhm.
that was at the time make or break the Big 12 championship. I didn't think Iowa State would go on to lose to West Virginia and go on to lose to Texas Tech. That's besides the point. But when Breece Hall opened that game with the 75-yard touchdown, that game was over. And
I knew
there's
it. I was like, oh, we got this game now.
there's just been something about Iowa State against K-State where they've had their number, and I think the playing field is going to be pretty even. I'd give the roster edge to K-State as I often would, but
Mhm.
I'm going to give the coaching edge to Iowa State, and we'll see what happens over in Dublin.
Yep.
Definitely. So we talked about the season and talking about K-State, and we're just going to talk about the season as a whole on this one. I guess how can expectations be reached? Like, what are keys to the season that can make this a successful season?
I think there's a few of them, and I'll start with more of the nitty gritty. The D line, somebody's got to step up. It might be Von Troy Malone, the transfer from Tulsa. It might be Ike Eziagu, really putting together a full season. He's shown flashes. Zamir Hawk. Essentially, there's got to be someone else that can help stop the run and get to the quarterback other than Dom Orange. We'll see who that is. Maybe it's even coming from the second level with Caleb Bacon being healthy and Caleb Berzina hopefully being healthy. Either way, Iowa State's got to be better up front because they were dead last in the conference in sacks last year, which is very unlike Iowa State, and they were second to last in rush defense, which is even more uncharacteristic. So that has to get better. The receivers, I think it's fair to call them a question mark. I think Xavier Townsend and Chase Sewell are going to fit like a glove. It's just a
Same.
matter of who takes over that wide receiver 3 position. Is it Daniel Jackson, who's dealt with injuries so often in his career? Is it Brett Eskelson or Dom Overby, a couple freshmen who showed glimpses last year, Eli Green, Carson Brown? I honestly feel pretty good about the receiver room, and the tight ends are going to be great. The O-line, I've always just got to see it. Like that's the one
Mhm.
area where I don't care how much buzz I hear. Like I just got to see that unit develop and progress. But I know it's all seniors. They got 5 seniors in that room. But to me, this all comes down to Rocco Becht.
Yep.
Rocco, it's not fair to say this because it happened, but if you take away those game-winning drives, or if you take away a couple of those game-winning drives, how is his season remembered? Probably by coming up short because he threw 4 pick sixes.
Mhm.
He struggled with accuracy at points, and more power to him. All the credit to him. He was able to overcome that and lead Iowa State on 4 game-winning drives. 5, and then they gave the touchdown right back to Texas Tech. Like that is miraculous.
Yeah.
For Rocco, his focus this year, it's got to be in the first 58 minutes of the game. Find a way to get that completion percentage from 59 to 64, 65. That is where Iowa State can really elevate because I don't think it's fair to assume that all these one-score games are going to go your way again.
Right.
I don't think it's fair to expect 4 2-minute drives being successful and leading to wins. Like that is a lot to put on your quarterback. It's a lot to just put on everybody. But where Iowa State can be better is, hey, they're better than UCF. Don't require a comeback against UCF.
Right.
You're at Utah, that game's over, and all of a sudden a pick six and a blocked punt, and somehow it's a tie game again. Like, avoid that stuff. That's where I think it comes. That's where I think the season is made or it's not. It comes down to that, and a lot of that typically does come on the quarterback. Although I know it's not all just on Rocco.
Nah, man, we said the same thing, man. Like if he can get it up, and I think that something that will help that is the tight end room that we have with Bramer and the emergence of Gabe Burkle and Tyler Moore. So I think that would be a huge key.
Yeah, Gabe Burkle, he had 2 catches heading into November. He finished the year with 26, which was the 3rd most on the team. So his late season emergence was, I probably, admittedly, on Cyclone Fanatic, haven't talked about that enough. Like, to be able to have that steady presence at tight end, it frees up Taylor Mauser to use Bramer almost as a 3rd receiver, because Bramer is closer to a receiver than he is like a traditional tight end.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be an absolute dangerous weapon X factor for ISU.
Definitely, yeah, because I interviewed Mouse about 2 months ago on the show, and he was saying the exact same thing about like definitely using the tight ends a lot more in the offense. I'm really, really excited to see how it comes out, because I'm pretty sure we're probably going to see a lot of like 12 personnel.
Oh, yeah. I would fully expect that as well.
Yeah. And then just the last question. Thank you for being so generous with your time. What Cyclone player do you think is due for a breakout year?
That is a tough question. I think I'm going to go Cale Brzezina.
I like that answer. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just think what he showed in that Iowa game, I mean, you deal with the shock of watching your leader, your defensive leader, Bacon, break his leg. And he's the captain. He's the play caller. You watch that happen, and Brzezina comes out, true freshman, wears the green dot, and plays out of his mind. Unfortunately, from that point on, he dealt with injuries, but he showed what he can do. I really think they've got an all Big 12 caliber linebacker in Cale Brzezina, and if he can stay healthy, I think what he's got and the rest of the depth at linebacker, I think that could really be the key in making life easier for the defensive line, for the secondary. Like when you've got linebackers that know where to be and know what to do, that was the key of those early Haycock defenses when you're talking
Definitely,
a Willie
yeah.
Harvey, a Marcel Spears. Like, that's where it comes down. Mike Rose, I can't believe I didn't mention him first. I think Brzezina is cut from the same cloth as those guys. And if he does what I think he does this year, I think he might be the breakout star for Iowa State.
That's a good one. I know, like for me, I think a breakout player, I think, could definitely be maybe one of the D linemen, maybe like a Vontre Malone or a
Yep.
Michael Chapman, somebody like that. Because if we can find somebody that can create pressure, I think, like you said, they can definitely raise the pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, did I lose you for a second?
Yeah. I think I might have too. So.
Oh,
I'm back now.
Yep.
okay. No, I was just saying before, if we can get a consistent like pass rush with one of them, that will raise the ceiling of this team.
Okay. Yeah, I think for me, I'm gonna stay defense as well. I'm gonna go with Tayshaun James.
Yep. Good
Ooh,
good
good
choice.
pick.
I mean, I saw the literally 2 week progression. We saw what happened when he got chucked out in the Kansas game
Poor kid.
because of because the injury of Malik Verdon. Obviously, we saw the cast out against Texas Tech, but just getting thrown in the fire pit that was Kansas and what they found. Tayshaun James he definitely looked like a freshman. Like he looked like a freshman cornerback. But that Cincinnati game on, he developed so quick. I mean, I knew defense was good to develop, but I didn't realize it'd be that quick of like a curve for Tayshaun James to just catch on and adapt to the game just with how fast he did. So I'm really excited to see it. And obviously
Yeah.
with the departure of a guy like Malik Verdon, I'm looking to see somebody complement John Tess and Jeremiah Cooper well. And I think Tayshaun James could be the guy.
Yeah, well, some advice that I'll give for a couple of young journalists like yourself that are doing great things. It's every year there's going to be one defensive back on Iowa State that's probably a freshman and is chucked in and gets embarrassed. It happened to John Tez Williams.
Mm-hmm.
It happened to TJ Tampa.
Yep.
It happened to Anthony Johnson. It happened to a lot of those guys. And often what you see, if they're a freshman that doesn't look like they're ready, it's because they're a freshman. It's not necessarily because they're not ready. Like, they're out on the field for a reason. And when you've got a guy like James or even Marcus Neal, these players that are in there when they're young, they might get picked on a little bit, but the fast progression that you saw from James proves all the more why he was on the field. And I think that's a really good pick, Cody. And it wouldn't shock me at all if he develops into something like that. Because just go look back at some tweets about John Tez Williams a couple of years ago. It's smart, and I've learned and I've matured to, maybe I might hold my opinion on young defensive backs until they get a few games under their belt.
Mm-hmm.
No, definitely. Well, Jake, thank you for joining us on the show and giving us your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. This is a blast talking some ball.
Mm-hmm.
44 days. That's all we need.
44 days, man. Are you going to Ireland?
I am, yes.
Okay.
Are you guys going?
Tyler is.
Yeah, I'm going. So if you want, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, well, for me, I mean, I'm still going to be in Ames, but that is 801 day for the Iowa State community.
Oh, that's right. That's going to be, oh my God, that's going to be the greatest 801 day of all time, or worst. We'll see.
Either way, Waltz Avenue is going to be going crazy.
I did not put that together. That is wild.
Yeah, so I'm going to probably be out somewhere on Waltz Avenue or at my apartment or at a place.
I might cancel my plans for Ireland. I might come back and run it back at 801 day. No, I'm happy to be going to Ireland. I'll take some Irish Guinness over over the Natty Lights.
Same.
I'm gonna probably buy Guinness specifically for this game. I'm gonna put it in my beer fridge.
Well, Tyler, we'll maybe have to grab a true authentic Guinness while we're over there.
I'll hit you, and then we'll grab a pint together, man.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having me. Doing great work over here.
Yep. Thank you. All right. So we're just gonna with that we are going to end the Believe in Iowa State podcast. A few things before we go. A few shameless plugs like we always do. We are a top 15 sports podcast in the state of Iowa, nominated by FeedSpot, and we are now a top 50 most listened to podcast in the state of Iowa. So thank you, FeedSpot. Thank you, state of Iowa listeners. Thank you, everybody that listens to this show. You can find Cody on Twitter at Matt Campbell Impersonator. Cody, what are you talking about these days?
I think the big thing to talk about right now is the Big 12 team, professional wrestling, because the day before the Dublin game, SmackDown's going to be in Dublin, Ireland. So I'm half expecting Matt Campbell to hit Chris Kleiman with a spine buster and maybe a people's elbow.
Dude, isn't Campbell like a huge wrestling fan?
I think he is. I think he. Just imagine Matt Campbell going out on he'll be on the field or in the ring or something. It'd be hilarious. Or oh my, dude, Willie and Cy in a wrestling ring.
Yes.
I need
Man Cat versus Cy. Yes, I need it.
I just need Cy to hit Willie the Wildcat with a Braun Breaker-esque spear or a Destroyer-esque penta.
Oh man, that would be lit. That or Rocco versus Avery.
Wait, what would be Rocco's finishing move?
Knowing him would probably be the people's elbow.
Yeah. You know what? Give me Rocco hitting Avery with an RKO. I'm gonna just take it.
Oh, that'd be lit. That'd be so fire. Oh man. All right. And then you can find me on Twitter, Tyler at SciTieGuy. Man, I'm actually really, really excited to meet Jake now, because I'm pretty sure once I meet him, we're going to be definitely talking about the Cowboys. It's so nice to find another Cowboys fan in this fan base. It's great. Yeah. Screw the 49ers. And then lastly, I know I ruffled some feathers with that one. I know.
So that's the next time we faced y'all in the playoffs. I remember that.
It's all right.
You guys even make it.
I mean, assuming that we even make it, nah, we gonna make it. You'll beat us. You'll just be ringless again when you lose to the Chiefs. But follow us on social media at Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. So for Tyler Carter
and for Cody Van Cielum,
this is the Believe in Iowa State podcast. Roll Clones, baby.
Go Cyclones.